Welcome to day 8 of my 10-minute writing challenge. And right off the bat, I'm going to let you know a couple things. One, this is not a 10-minute writing challenge. I broke the rules. I made the rules and I broke them. I'm only supposed to draw for 10 minutes. I ended up drawing while a bunch of people were talking around me and trying to pull me into the conversation. And I told them, hey, I'm going to draw right now. And they decided to not listen to me about that. So anyway, I ended up drawing for around 22 minutes, and I sped it up, and this video is going to end up being around 11 minutes. So here's the thing. I was very uncomfortable with that drawing I made last time. I'm pretty sure the day 7 video, it talks about how uncomfortable I was drawing that Siren. So anyway, I don't know what happened. So what I did was I decided to take another crack at it and to change the costume because I was very uncomfortable with the barely there costume that I had given that other Siren character that I was drawing. You might notice on the drawing that I made here, or that I'm making here, by the way, I'm sorry, I never show the feet. I was changing her feet to high heels, and again, I was distracted, so I wasn't really looking at the camera or my phone screen and making sure that everything was in view like it should have been. So, unfortunately, this is what happens. I quickly grabbed a copy out of my drawer, and I realized kind of partway through that this one didn't have a face. So it's a little unfortunate that it doesn't have the face in there. When I compare them, put them side by side, they're not going to have the same face. Of course, if I'm going to go through and clean up with paint, like areas like her shoes, I might put the other face on. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But anyway, my kids were with me, and you can see one of them here. And she decided to do something with her. I'm not even sure what she wanted to do, but she does some more work, and I asked for some opinions. I went into this really not knowing what I was going to do for this costume. I knew I wanted to do something different, and I drew these, belts crossing each other because I had envisioned. I'd kind of been thinking about characters of this archetype. I think that's the best way to put it. And thinking about what they look like and how they're dressed in movies and video games and other media. And for some reason, it kept popping into my head. Some of these, like, Game of War or, Struggle of Conflict or whatever, like, app games that they have that, or, like, they'll have, too, these games, allegedly. I've never clicked on one, so I don't know, but it's, like, for adult gamers only, and it's a very scantily clad woman on the front, and oftentimes they'll look like they're sort of dressed for war, but not really. And anyway, they'll have stuff like the crossed belts, and like maybe they might even be wearing a hood to make them look mysterious or whatever. I don't know. But or maybe she's an enchantress, so she's got a cape, with nothing on underneath, like a corset and metal greaves or thigh high. Anyway, so that image had kind of popped into my head, and I thought, well, I don't want to do exactly something like that. So then, with all these people in my office, my kids, my wife, and anyway, they were carrying on a conversation. I said, hey, if we're going to be here for a while, I'm going to go ahead and draw, okay? And everybody said, all right, go ahead and do that. We're not even talking to you anyway. So I went ahead and started drawing this, and yeah, so I didn't really know what I was going to do. I kind of just really went by feel. Look at my little assistant here. I didn't even notice she was doing this. I think I was being spoken to, so I turned my attention away, and when I turned back, there was all this coloring in on her bust. And I thought, well, at least she stayed in the lines, so that was pretty good. I was happy about that, and I thought, what am I going to do with this? It was funny. My wife came over and she said, "Oh, is that okay?" And I said, "Yep, it's not a big deal. I'm just going to roll with it, and we'll see how it goes." So anyway, yeah, so I kind of, as I was going through, I had the double belts, and I don't know what I started thinking, but like the shoulders gave me an idea, because I was thinking, like, what are, like, alluring or like attractive kind of lines on a suit that you can have without it being, showing all this skin. Because I really think showing all the skin in the last design of the Siren really made me uncomfortable. Like, you could see her belly button, and like, it's just a step too far for me. And I sped through that all. because I really didn't want, like, I wasn't proud of it, and I didn't enjoy drawing it. In fact, I felt a little gross drawing it, and I didn't want to cover it up necessarily, but I did want to not emphasize it, so I just sped through it and like, here you go, folks. Oh, see here, now you can see her high heels, and she's got like double feet going on here, so I'm gonna have to go in and maybe clean that up and show it, make it presentable. But anyway, so anyway, I just started thinking about, what to do with the costume. I ended up going with sort of like a she's like wearing a corset with some like frilly stuff in it, and kind of like a female soldier kind of look, but like a Victorian, kind of like a swashbuckling outfit. I guess is the I can't really peg it down to an era, but I figured I'd give her a costume from then, and then here I'm drawing scabbards or sheaths really, and I guess would that be a rapier or would that be just a I don't know what kind of sword that would be. There's the really skinny sword. Maybe that's a saber. There's the really skinny sword with the handle on it, and like the little handguard. Now I give her like the bowl type handguards. I have a book on weapons. It's like a weaponology book, I think it's called. But I actually haven't consulted it in a long time. Probably because I've been more focused on actually drawing characters mostly without weapons, like with all the 20-some superhero designs I did recently, or over the last year really, and those I was just focusing on getting the designs completed, not so much designs and backstories basically completed, and not so much on specifics or a lot of details like, oh, what kind of weapon is this, whatever. Or I wanted them to have their own unique kind of weapon, just to help them stand apart. Anyway, so, I'm making her armor or her suit like sort of practical. Like she's kind of got like this hip armor, like a little bit of a guard there that her belts are crossing over, and maybe that's so that she doesn't get hit there with a sword, or maybe so that when she's putting her own swords back in, it's like a safety thing. I don't know. I don't really know. But oh, and then my daughter and I here were discussing like what I was gonna do, because I was gonna like maybe like almost give her short shorts or something, to show the most skin possible. Not because I want that or I value that, just because that's the kind of character I was thinking about, presenting, or the design I wanted to present. But then I decided, we talked about it, and I said, oh, I'll do like a sheer skirt here, and I feel like this is a little more like this could be from a time long ago, perhaps. Like I guess. It's funny, this sort of design isn't too distant from like a Xena. It's like a Xena in a different area maybe, or era of time perhaps, because she, I think her shoulders were fully exposed, and she had like a hard, like an armored bodice, like a defined breastplate and stuff, and she wore like boots up to her ankles, and this lady's in heels, so it's a little different. And she had, did she use a sword or just a chakram? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've seen anything related to Xena, but it was funny this year. My daughter's saying like, "Oh, you should have the lace go all the way down." I'm saying, "No, I don't want that, because she's supposed to be exposed, because I'm going for this type of character." So anyway, but I mean, honestly, I don't think this is a terrible character design. It's definitely something I would skew away from. And my wife and I were actually having an interesting discussion last night. We watched Mary Poppins recently, and she pointed out one of the outfits that Winifred Banks, the mother and the wife of George Banks, or his wife, the mother of his children. Let's be clear here. Oh yeah, and my wife was like, she's gonna wear those high heels and to fight, and I just wanted to point that out on camera real quick. But anyway, back to Winifred Banks' costumes. My wife said that one of them had, of course she was dressed in like a Victorian English kind of outfit, not actually Victorian, but kind of coming from that era, and that, her dress went all the way up to her neck, but that it had a layer of a different fabric on it, and the lines on it were like almost like a plunging neckline. She said it was like kind of at her shoulders, and it tapered down and went like maybe to the center of her stomach, and had the rest of the dress not been under it, it would have left her very exposed. And she said it kind of called to mind to her images she's seen like in a fashion magazine, or like a runway model kind of dress, where you need tape to hold everything in place, and things like that. And I thought, that was very interesting. And I kind of, in talking to her about it, I said, so, what do you think that means? And we kind of settled on the fact that if you have the right kind of lines on a piece of clothing, that changes the perception of it, and you could almost have a very, you could almost have like nude type of lines or very exposed type of lines on a design, on a garment, and it could potentially make it look more appealing, make it feel more, I don't know, flirty or fun or something like that, and that's not necessarily a problem. And just that's kind of interesting. So going forward, I kind of want to play with the lines of the clothes, the costumes that I give to my different characters. So anyway, that's something you can potentially look forward to. I don't know if that's something I'll explore in doing the soldier. Maybe I will. I'll try to design the soldier version of this character for the Siren versus Soldier kind of project I'm doing, and see if I can give her something that completely covers her and that you can tell is armored, but gives very effeminate, very I don't know, attracting lines. Anyway, and then I quickly just drew a face and hair for this lady because I was running out of time. Anyway, you can like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get them as they come, and thank you for watching.